Why do birds stop laying? One could be the weather conditions. When the weather conditions change, they are stressed and they stop laying for some time. Feeds are a major cause of birds stopping laying. If they are altered, if they are fake, if they are little, if they are not enough, if they are too fatty, the feeds are a major cause of birds not laying. When you remove the husks, when you're removing the husks, you are disturbing them. They usually stop laying for some time also. By 12 months, some of them stop laying because they are too old. Today we are going to share with you how can you make the birds or your layers lay more eggs. How can you make them lay longer? How can you make them lay at the right time? We are talking about layer birds in poultry farming. So stick around, shall share with you everything. Alright, welcome back to Tap Farm YouTube channel. On this channel, we'll share with you majorly the poultry ideas, the poultry projects, and also we'll share with you how can you do these things here and there and concerning poultry in a better way. Today we're going to share with you how to reap a lot of money from poultry farming. Here I shall touch basically layers as the major component of our video. If you want to get more eggs, you must understand all the variations about poultry. Number one is the breed. Where do you get your breed from? The breed you get determines the future of your birds. Or the breed you get determines the future of your farm or the future of your poultry. Otherwise, if you get a poor breed, you always get bad production. If you get a good breed, you get a good production. So the better the breed, the better the production, and the better the laying position and the laying capacity. Flock management is the key in a poultry farm. If you keep your birds with poor management, expect poor production. Management includes the biosecurity or maybe the health. It includes the feeding habits and the care. So the better the management, the better the birds and the better the production. When you bring in your chicks, always consider what they call plate management. From the first day, from the day one, the chicks should be given the care. I've given you all the videos about how can you take care of the plates. From day one, ensure that the chicks have the light, have the heat, and the food and water. When you give them enough light, the chicks will eat and they will grow. Lighting should be about 24 hours in the day. That means it should be 24/7. The light should be there in the chicks for the first 8 weeks. Then from there, the chicks should be given enough food that has nutrients, that is protein, fats, minerals, vitamins, all that should be there. Then they feed for energy. They should be vaccinated or against all the diseases. Maybe that's Newcastle, Gumboro, infectious bronchitis, Marex, fall typhoid, fall pox, and then you should be giving them deworming every time. To deworm at least in the first 8 weeks, you must deworm. And then every 8 weeks, you deworm again. Otherwise, if you don't do that, that's poor management of the flock. In simple terms, to get many eggs from the flock, from your birds, you must do the beaking. The beaking should be done at 8 to 12 weeks if you have to manage your birds better. Otherwise, if you don't do that, they will get poor management. They will get the issues with the cannibalism, eating of the eggs. All that should be avoided because we want to get the peak, we want to get the best out of our birds. When you are the beaking, you should have the lower lip longer than the upper one because we want them to tap the feed and eat it. Also, when you're the beaking, if you don't know how to debake, please call a vet. But of course, after looking at the vet doing it, you learn. You also take it up as someone who has learned. We must have light management on our flock. The birds before 8 weeks should have light for 24 hours. Then after that, during laying, they should have light at least for 16 hours. How do you determine that? If you're in dark places, maybe in dark conditions, you should open the windows as early as possible, as early as 5, and close them as late as 8. So the birds should have enough time to eat. And please, don't stimulate your birds to lay early. Birds to lay by 17 or 18 weeks, they don't have that long time to lay. They get prolapse So the bird should be laying from 18 weeks to 20. Don't stimulate them to lay early. A bird is not a machine. Love what you do. Let them live at their pace. You very well know that lighting is not meant only for eating. It boosts the growth. And also the sexual production of a bird grows with light. If the sexuality of a bird is improved, they will lay for you eggs. These are meant for laying eggs. So please always try to ensure that the birds you have the whole body grown at the same pace. Let the whole body be boosted. That means the production, the sexual production, the meat, the pelvic parts, all of that should grow at the same pace. And organs, of course, the internal organs, the lungs, the liver, they should all grow. That's why we give them the proteins, the fat, the minerals, the vitamins, and the energy. All that should be given the bird as they grow so that you can get the better production. This lighting gives us a cardinal rule. When you are building a structure, you should have always east-west, facing the east-west orientation. Now, look at it, where the sun sets, where the sun rises from, and where the sun sets from. Where does the sun from your area come from? Where does it end? So you make sure that the building faces where the structure, where the sun sets. So that by morning, the birds start with a lower pace, and by evening they end with a higher pace, so they can go and sleep when they are satisfied. That's the condition. East-west orientation of building a structure. Another way to make your birds lay many eggs and longer is nutritional value, that is in the feed you give them. Nutrition matters a lot in your birds. Here, if you get your pellets, if you get your young pellets and give them good feed, or young chicks and give them good feed, they develop the body holistically. And if they are laying, they also develop the eggs holistically. Now, we're looking at this. How much feed does a bird feed when it is young, when it is growing, and when it is old? For the first weeks, 8 weeks, the chick eats 2 kilograms. That is chicken duck. Then you are sure this feed, if they are 2 kilograms, is it balanced nutrition-wise? It's a balance. If it is balanced, then well and good. If it's not balanced, you're wasting your money. You cannot give maize bland alone to a chick. Yes, it's 2 kilograms for the 8 weeks, but is it having any nutritional value? Then you have this from 8 weeks to 19 weeks or 20 weeks. There's that feed we give them that is both grower, polylayer. It should be about 6 kilograms. That means the total feed is 8 kilograms for a bird to start laying. So here we're giving a calculation of how many kilograms should your bird eat before it starts laying. If you give them the feed that has nutrients and it is 8 kilograms before it starts laying, your bird will give you eggs for the next 12 months. You can imagine. Sometimes even 16 months. So please, if you're giving the feeds, give them twice, morning hours and afternoon hours. Some people give them 3 times, breakfast, lunch, supper. And in that, they are missing sometime when the feed is over. There's that gap of feeding, and they end up having less feed. Or maybe alteration of feeds. Or maybe trying to dodge the quality. Then you give them cheap feed. No. Layers say, feed me, I feed you. Support me, I support you. That's a layer bird. So basically, on everyday basis, a layer bird eats 140 grams of feed. On feeds, never forget the water. Enough and clean water is good for the birds which are laying. A layer bird consumes more water than feed. 70% of an egg is absolutely water. So when you are feeding the birds, ensure you give them clean water. If you can't drink the water, don't give it to the bird. The dirty water is good, it smells for the bird and never takes it. They are so sensitive. They smell feed so easily. If the water is smelling, they never take it. Yeah, they never. We always have a problem or a challenge with space. Most of the farmers don't understand the space that is meant for laying birds. The space, this ground space, where the birds play from, where they lay from, that ground. A layer bird should at minimum have 1.5 feet squared. But normally we say 2 feet squared is enough space for layers. If the birds are having 2 square feet, an example is if a bird is as long as this arm, that That means it should have this space squared for it to lay the eggs, to play around, to have the patchings, to patch up, or to eat freely or drink the water. So if you're having your birds having 2 square feet around in the chicken house, your birds will lay good eggs and will lay well because they are enjoying life. Usually, we say if your space is not clear, maybe made a mistake and brought in more birds, put the patches. The bird is able to rise up after eating and look down on the birds which are down. After eating, they always like going up and they roam around up there, and that's nice for them. You know, they like it. So basically, also we have that to collect our manure in one place. Like me, I use it for biogas. So when the manure is concentrated in one place, remember there are husks there. But if you put the patches, they put the poo at night on one place. Then in the morning you remove it, put it in your biogas, and then you produce gas, cook your food. Ensure to provide laying nests as early as possible. And those laying nests should be put in the dark corners or with dark polythene paper so that they enter freely. And when they enter inside, they don't have that shyness. They should be in the right corner. They give you the eggs. Otherwise, if you put them anyhow, they will not enter. And each box should be 1 square feet, 1 by 1 feet. That one accommodates 5 birds, which means if you have 1,000, calculate. Every box of 1 square feet is used by 5 birds. That's the principle, and it works. We have the litter in our chicken house. You can use wood shavings if you can't find any other. You use coffee husks, rice husks, but the coffee husks have been the best for me here. These ones don't cause flu. Wood shavings cause a lot of flu. Again, the coffee husks have better fertilizer after use. This fertilizer is used maybe for matoke plantation, tomatoes plantation, the pineapples. This and is costly. People buy it from you. They book. So always use what is reusable. When our birds are laying, we should be able to identify which bird lays, which doesn't lay, and why. So if your birds are in a flock, if you have a flock of birds, and you put 2 fingers on the pelvis of the bird and they can't pass, that bird is not laying. If the water is not brown or red, they are not laying, those ones. The birds should be sounding better. If you touch the back, should be able to fall down. That's a laying bird. So please, don't always have birds. Don't have a flock of birds that doesn't lay and you spend money on it. Isolate those birds. Remove them. You can sell them off, eat them off. Let us assume you have fed your birds and they have matured right now. They are at 18, 20 weeks. Expect an egg. Expect an egg. At least you expect 6% of the eggs in that week. From 20 to 21 weeks, then you should expect at least 50% of production. Then they will lay. At 22, 23 weeks, expect the maximum peak. Don't mess up at that position. At that time, don't mess up anything. No changing of workers. This is the time that is critical. Give them the greens. Let them be happy. Make the birds look better. Let them enjoy life. And don't miss any egg. Because in life, if you miss any egg on a single day in the production of eggs, you'll never get that egg again. Never. There are some reasons, maybe I could share with you this. Why do birds stop laying? Why? Why do birds stop laying? One would be the weather conditions. When the weather conditions change, they are stressed and they stop laying for some time. You have to boost them again with vitamins or with vitamins. When you remove the husks, when you're removing the husks, you are disturbing them. They usually stop laying for some time also. During vaccination days, or maybe the baking days, they also stop laying. When they are sick, they stop laying. When they are too old, maybe above 12 months of laying, some of them stop laying, and most of them stop laying, and in any way, they end up not laying again. By 12 months, some of them stop laying because they are too old. The feeds are a major source of the major cause of not laying. The feeds are a major cause of birds stopping laying. If they are altered, if they are fake, if they are little, if they are not enough, if they are too fatty, the feeds are a major cause of birds not laying. You can imagine parasites, the lice, the ticks, all those things, if they're in your bird, they stop laying. These rodents, the rats, the snakes, they make them stop laying. So the birds have a lot of issues. you have to be sure that what you're doing is right. You can imagine people always underestimate the power of lighting. If you don't give them enough light so they can eat for about 15 to 14 hours a day, they will not lay. If the light is too bright, they learn bad manners. They start pecking each other, eating the eggs, cannibalism. So please make the light normal. But lighting can cause your birds not to lay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kataps. I want to thank you so much for watching these videos always. I want to thank you so much. Who am I to have 21K subscribers? 20,000 subscribers. It means you follow what I do. Maybe you like what I do. If you're new here, please subscribe. Share the videos to other people. Let them know there's someone who can give a video that is educative at a free of charge. See you next time. Bye-bye.